Yo, it's your boy Mr. Box Office from Mr. Box Office TV, back with another video. And in this video, I want to speak about the youngsters that we've got. Because I've heard a lot of talk recently about the inclusion of Mikey Moore in the Crystal Palace game, which is ironic that people are still angry about, which I sit there and think I'm a bit confused about because, like I said, I've been telling you this, that our squad's not good enough at all, but that's for another video. In Mr. Box Office TV, you should like and subscribe, and you'll find out and get notified when the video goes out, and that's it. But without further ado, I just want to go on to Mikey Moore. I said this before the Crystal Palace game when the lineup came up. Roll the footage. The lineup's in, and Mikey Moore is in instead of Timo Werner. Another bold decision from Postecoglou, who has shown the last 3 games that he's ruthless. West Ham, bringing off Maddison, bringing on Sarr, we win 3-1 against West Ham. Alkmaar, he brings off Vera at half-time, brings on Johnson, puts Mikey Moore on the left-hand side. He has a bit of a wonder for the next 15 minutes. Tottenham end up winning the game 1-0. And today, puts Mikey Moore on from the start, showing ruthlessness and showing that he's got something about him that he wants to win. And when he knows about a player, he really wants to play them, and that's it. So we'll wait and see what happens against Crystal Palace and get going, and that's it. From that video just there, I was actually giving some credit to Postecoglou for actually making the right decision, because he had no choice but to put Mikey Moore in the starting lineup against Crystal Palace. This was on the back of his performance in that 15 minutes cameo. Well, he did play the first half as well, but that 15-minute sort of cameo against Alkmaar, which was very, very impressive in terms of the way he got the ball and taking on players and dribbled past players, which was really superb the way he did it. Put all that attention on him, gave more space to some of the other players that we had in the team, and that was it. And then people are saying that, why are you playing him in such an important game against Crystal Palace? And the thing is, though, it's fascinating now people are saying this and putting this opinion across, saying that we're putting too much pressure on the young shoulders of Mikey Moore. But there was a lot of people at the start of the season, especially in the summer, last year as well, last season, saying that this guy is the best guy that I've never seen before, and he's going to be a great talent, and that's it. In the summer, we said, well, we've got a superb proper young players, and Mikey Moore is it's really exceptional talent that Tottenham Hotspurs need to nurture, and that's it. But then we have the transfer window that we had, where we got loads of youngsters in. We brought in Alderbert, otherwise not getting somebody who was more established, or a couple of players that were more established, to put pressure on the likes of Son, who is winding down his career, not putting the pressure on the likes of Johnson, and that's it. With Kulusevski, who we've been saying for quite a while, not just this season, and it's not a surprise now, he's gone back to his best position, that he was better at Parma. But again, I've said this on Mr. Box Office TV, go and look back in that, is that we didn't get good players, so there wasn't that much pressure on the young players that we want to bring through. And because Mikey Moore is obviously too young, we couldn't put him on loan. And there was also a concern that he was going to leave, because there was lots of other teams that are very, very interested in him. So he had the option of actually moving to other clubs that actually might play him more, and that's it. To even argue the further case as well for Tottenham as well, that Tottenham have such a bad and an absolutely awful English quota, especially in Europe. Because even though it was a good decision to let go of Skip, a very good decision to let go of Skip, it left us short in terms of the young players that are academy trained at the club for the European squad. The European quota for the English quota, and that's it. So we had to put goalkeepers in rather than that. And then Spencer's now left out of the squad for European squad, which has not really been a good decision, let's be honest here. But back onto what I'm talking about with Mikey Moore. The reason why I think it's quite funny now, people are criticising the decision of this. I'm sitting there saying, well, firstly, you put him in the squad. So if you're going to put him in the squad, he's obviously ready. If he's not ready for the squad, don't put him in the squad in the first place. Second of all, we brought in Timo Werner, the below average Shane Long, German Shane Long. And we all knew Timo Werner from last season was not good enough. Whether you thought he did well or not, it wasn't blowing up any trees and that's it. So when Timo Werner, which I told you, the character of Timo Werner as well concerned me as well. You've got a problem because then you're sitting there saying, well, if Song's injured, Alderbear that we brought in was raw. Regardless whether you like him or not, he's raw. So if he's not playing well and not scoring goals, what else do you have? Who else do you have to play? And that's it. And the only other player you've got is Mikey Moore. And that's it. So what I'm explaining is we put ourselves in that position where we had to pick Mikey Moore. We have nobody else to pick because we've got no Yeong Yuk, who's coming in January, and he's another youngster. But I think they're banking on him to have a good start in January when he comes into the team. So we've got limited options. And so when you've got a player like Timo Werner, Alderbear, who's raw, might have a bit of arrogance about him, but he's still raw. That is not really cut his teeth yet. Really, yes, he's got a little bit of experience at Burnley, but he wasn't really pulling up any strings at Burnley, let's be honest here. Then you've got Timo Werner, who's just a nice guy that needs confidence, that's lost his confidence since Chelsea. And RB Leipzig, if he had anything about him, he would still be at RB Leipzig, but they were literally giving him away to us. And regardless whether he had Champions League or not, won Champions League or not, that all is gone. Completely gone. You can see it. And that's it. You can see that he's putting his head down most of the time and that's it. You can see blatantly we had no choice but to play Mikey Moore. And that's it. And so when he played against Crystal Palace, what I expected from Mikey Moore was doing the same thing he did against Alkmaar on the Thursday. But then he goes back to type and does what everyone else, other players doing that's been playing that left-hand side in the first place. And I'm sitting there thinking, wait a minute here. Why are you not telling Mikey Moore to do the same thing he was doing before? Why are we not trying to play to his game? Try and get the best out of him. Try and help him out on his debut in the Premier League. Why is no players doing that? And then it goes back to what I said before. I don't trust any of those midfielders to help out a young player like Mikey Moore. The same thing now, where people said, "Oh, I'm wrong about the midfield. Oh, why am I saying I want Højbjerg and Lo Celso back in my squad? Why would I want past midfielders back like Dembele, Wanyama? Why would I want those sort of midfielders back in my team? The reason why I want them back in my team because they don't help out youngsters like the Mikey Moores, and the same reason where you've got Bergvall and Archie Gray that are sitting on the bench when really we're told that they're ready for the squad. We didn't need any top players to get in for them. We didn't need any top players to build up our squad, and that's it. So, based on all this, we put ourselves in this position. I didn't choose to bring in Mikey Moore. I didn't choose the fact that we didn't bring in a proper winger, rather than a couple of wingers that have got will compete for that spot. But we chosen not to do that. What we did is decide not to buy a winger, buy a established winger, and now say we're playing the youngsters. We're going to go for a young team, bringing through the youngsters. But we're doing anything but doing that. Like we said last season, we said we're going to try and play the class of 92 youngsters, like the Man United's youngsters back in 1992, the youngsters that we had in the under 21s. But we never used them, and some of them have already gone on loan. Most of them have gone on loan because they're not ready. And that's it. So the thing that really annoys me about this whole thing about Mikey Moore, Archie Gray and Burval as well, but Mikey Moore as well. Don't look at me and tell me I'm putting pressure on the youngsters when we put him in that position. Top clubs don't do this. Liverpool's shown it. They had a youngster that they thought was very, very good, went off to sold him off to bloody Brentford. I think it's Carvalho. The player was a winger. He had lots of potential. Ended up going off to bloody Brentford of all teams, and he had lots of potential. This is the thing. Top teams don't make this. They put established players in the position so they don't put pressure on their youngsters. And if they do put youngsters on, they put experienced players that can be trusted. And that's the thing. You can see what happened on Sunday, that you can't trust most of those players, which is what I've been complaining about most of this time. But like I said, truth hurts coming from Mr. Box Office, the main event. Because when the truth comes right from me, you don't want to hear it. But when it comes right in your face, when you see what we do against Crystal Palace, look what happens. The truth was always there, and that's it. And you should have listened to the main event, and that's it. Like I said before, it's always like this every single time with me. Bad to life, bad to reality. If it don't make money, it don't make sense. Well, really, if it doesn't tactically make sense, it don't make sense. Some of the saying that I could say in some of the music I listen to, Jamaican music I listen to. Take some of that. So like I said, I don't see the point. I don't know why people are having a go at people saying, oh, why are you putting pressure on Mikey Moore and everything else? Well, if he had a better player like an Eze in front of him, who played very well, by the way, against us, by the way, right? If he had a Sommier who's got experience from Bournemouth in front of him, we wouldn't need to worry about Mikey Moore. Mikey Moore can just develop. If he's still developing, why are we putting him in that position then? Putting him in the squad. And now Son's injured. We've got a backup in Werner, a backup in Alderbear who's not ready, who's raw. This is what I was saying. I don't like backups. And look what's happened. And now we've got the putting pressure on youngsters to play. And what are we doing? We're not playing the Archie Gray and Burval in key games. We're playing them in European games to try and build up their confidence. So what's the point in that? When he told us, beginning of the season, saying that they were ready. We were so impressed with him in training. Archie Gray and Burval. And we've got a fantastic talent in Mikey Moore. So we don't need to do that. We could play them in Europe just to build them up, and that's it. But as I said before, our forward line is absolutely bang average. Bang average. Other than Son, who's now injured. And that's it. So now you've got to go back to youngsters that you said, because you said you're doing a youth project. So start using the youth and build up your squad. But you started to realise, we need to do something in the Cups though. We have to do something in the Cups. So if they're good enough for the squad, they should be good enough against Man City then. They should be good enough against Aston Villa then. Because we're doing a project. We're doing a project. Compared to Tottenham fans are telling me that we're doing a project of youth. But how's that worked out the last how many years? And how many youth players have actually come through? We said that about Edwards, Marcus Edwards. Look what happened to him. He's actually doing. He's not doing too bad at the moment back in Portugal. But the point I'm making is that we put so much pressure in. How did it work out for Parrott? Troy Parrott. Oh, well, look how did it work out for Harry Winks and Tanganga? That we said, oh, we've got very good talent. Oh, that's it. But I was actually very optimistic from the video you said there. I just shot there at the beginning. I said to you, I said it was a good decision with Postecoglou, but we put ourselves in that position having to play Mikey Moore. If we had more established players, did what we needed to do, we would be in a better position, and that's it. And I blame Postecoglou for all this as well. Like I said before, this guy is not a good coach. The teams like Eddie Howe, managers like Eddie Howe, Unai Emery, don't make mistakes like this. You see, Areola for Bournemouth, I see a coach there making plays better. This guy, Pochettino, was one of the best coaches I've seen. Made players that were raw into good players that could work in the squad that he will use and get the best out of. And this is the same guy that worked with us with a shoestring, with not that many with players that he just was handed to him, and that's it. Had to play at Wembley as well and still got the best out of the squad. Martin Yeo was another one as well. And you can even start talking about Villas-Boas as well. Good coaches that knew how to get the best out of the squad. It's going to be a very interesting night tonight. See what Postecoglou does. Because if he plays Timo Werner again, it's setting a very bad precedent. A very bad precedent. We're trying to get him into confidence. Now, is that a way to do it? And it goes back to what I said before, which I've repeated so many times. Backups are not good enough for us. If we wanted backups, you might as well have got Harry Winks back, Bergwijn back, got all those players that we said were not good enough. Now people are saying, oh, he's a Champions League winner. Well, we let go of a Champions League winner in Perisic, who's won multiple Champions League, who had done more in 10 games last season when he came off the bench than Timo Werner's doing right now. I think he showed more leadership and more actually experience to some of these youngsters, give them some experience to some of these youngsters than Timo Werner's doing right now. He's useless to us at the moment. And the fact that we're looking maybe to sell him, to let him go in January, just sums it all up perfectly for me, that they made a mistake and that's it. And what does that say to you? They don't know what they're doing and that's it. I actually now embarrassed that now I'd rather not have Johan Lang. I'd rather have Paratici back. And you know how I felt about Paratici and that's it. That's a short, sharp video from your boy, Mr. Box Office, the main event, the Professor of Truth and Entertainment, the ratings killer, the people's champion, and everyone's guilty pleasure, and that's it. And if you don't know, get to know, and that's it. We look forward to the game tonight. Tottenham should be winning tonight. We should give it a good go, and should, with a second string Manchester City, should be trying to get through. I think it's going to be a tight game, but Tottenham might just get through. 1-0 or 2-1 maybe, or maybe on penalties. But I wouldn't be surprised if Man City get the victory and that's it. But we'll see what happens and that's it. But like I say every single time, and finish off the video like every single time, like always, if you didn't know, get to know, support your Mr. Box Office, subscribe and like, and come on you Spurs. And I'm out.